Hello and welcome to this week's Omsi 2 news. Today we have some news about Westcountry version 3, which is the extension or which is going to be the enhanced version or updated version of buses of Westcountry version 2.9. We have some news about the Masterbus, the London Spec buses for the Masterbus Gen 3 pack. In addition, there's also some news about the Man Lion City that's going to be released by Sobol, as well as that by Halycon. This is the Omsi 2 news, and there you go. Let's get into this week's news. So first of all, Westcountry version 3, which most of you are probably aware of, is the extension or it's the updated version of buses of Westcountry version 2.9, which has been a work in progress. Recently, a few channels have gained early access beta testing for the map and have been showcasing it on YouTube, thus indicating that the map is potentially near release. That's probably based off the condition that the beta testing goes, is successful and there isn't any major bugs that are revealed. But nonetheless, the fact that the early access or the beta testing team has expanded from about 2 to about 5 or 6 people probably indicates that the map is not too far off. Nonetheless, though, this of course just is an indicator rather than something that will be set in stone. Nonetheless, the map, for those of you who didn't watch the last Omsi news video a few months back that mentioned what the map will feature is, the map, according to the devs, or in that Halycon post that they posted, the devs, it was saying that it's going to split into 2 phases. It's going to have phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1's most likely going to feature the 35, which has been completely revamped, and thanks to Gaming Hydraulics, who watched the early access and has been able to give me this information. And it's basically a bit like TSLP and Addon London in the sense that the buses to Westcountry version 2.9 and Westcountry version 3 are almost unrecognizable. That's how much the quality and the detail has improved since buses to Westcountry version 2.9, and I think that screenshot is testimony to that fact. Nonetheless, afterwards, we also have some news about the Masterbus Gen 3 pack by Masterswitch Studios. So, as we know, there was some information surfacing about this being released in January, then it got pushed to February 1st. But now we have a bit more information about what's going to happen with the London Spec Masterbus Gen 3. So basically the actual bus and the London Spec variants have actually been made. They seem to be finished. However, there is exclusivity on the scripts, as you can see in the right side here. So what that means is until Addon London version 1.02, which will be the next update for Addon London, most likely adding in the P5 and the RRP, they will not be able to actually release the London Spec version because it uses the same files or the same scripts that the Addon London buses use, and currently there is an exclusivity on those scripts until version 1.02. So whenever version 1.02 is released for Addon London, we can expect that the Masterbus Gen 3 London Spec will also be released. While we're on the topic of Master Switch buses, the main developer Blue Orange has also announced that for the V-Link pack, which is the single-decker pack that the team are working on, will also include the single-decker version of a Streetdeck, which is a bus that has been released onto the market recently. But there isn't yet any photos, as it's in a very early stage of development. We also have the notorious or the famous Morphi, who makes sound mods for usually LHD or European buses, has also made some sound mods for the Omsi 2 Addon London Enviro 200 and Enviro 400, including some Halycon sound mods, as well as improved ZF and voice sound mods. You can find the link to these sound mods in the description, or alternatively, if you want to join the Discord, you can stay even more on top of the Omsi 2 news. We also have an extensive list of download links to some of the best Omsi 2 mods, and all of the download links are official. But nonetheless, if you want to see a video of the sound mods, just click on the card up above. And yes, that's really it regarding to the sound mods. One thing to bear in mind is that they are in the beta phase, so they do not reflect the final release. But nonetheless, as is the case with all of Morphi's sound mods, they fail to disappoint, i.e. they are superb. There's some more news about the Lion City bus New Lion Cities DLC. So this was actually scheduled to release on the 22nd of February, which will actually, by the time this video is released, will already be released. So the Steam page has been put up for this, but this will be released on the 22nd of February unless there is some unforeseen circumstance that pushes back the release date. But basically, this bus is near. On the topic of the Lion City buses, it's not just Halycon that are working on them, it's also Sobol. It's interesting enough because Sobol actually included some of his Lion City buses in the Gran Turismo Milan DLC. But nonetheless, what we have here is the road to 2.2. So 2.2 of the Neoman Overhaul is going to include some new buses. So as you can see, it's mainly focusing on the articulated buses. So for those of you who don't have the version 1.1 of the Neoman Overhaul pack, basically that included the the solo versions, which are the 12-meter versions, the twin axles of the Man Lion City. They also had some Graph and Streeter ones and some Napoleon ones, but I think they got removed in the update, but we'll see what happens there in that regard. But nonetheless, the buses that will be included with the version 2.2 are the A23, which is an articulated version, as well as the A40, again, another articulated bus. Is going to be 3, 4, and even 5-door variants for the A40 Lion City. So yeah, it's 5 doors. I've yet to see that on the bus, but there you have it. We'll be seeing it in Omsi 2. And in addition to bendy buses, we'll also actually get some double deckers, and we're going to be getting an H39 3D, which is going to be from Euro 3, and it's also going to include actually some fictional Euro 6 versions as well. So the Neoman pack is going to become a very extensive pack featuring not only single and articulated buses, but also double decker buses. And then there's also going to be some stuff about reflections, you know, the floors and the walls will be repaintable. You're going to have set fires about the CNG. So the CNG set fires, I think this is to do with the engine and then that kind of thing by the sound. So one thing I hope also is that they fix the rain map, because with the version 1.1, what I noticed is when it was raining, there's a condensation on all the windows, which you can actually get rid of, as far as I know, even when you turn on the heating, unless I may have been doing that incorrectly. But nonetheless, this is another pack that will be released, and as you all know, the Neoman Overhaul pack was absolutely superb, so this is another one to keep an eye out on as well. And this brings us to the end of this week's Omsi 2 news. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay on top of the Omsi 2 news. They're released most of the time every Tuesdays, but they are on a weekly basis. And there's also going to be regular simulation news. This will kind of become more prominent in the not so distant future, as there's some news about Bus World, Bus Simulator 2021, SimBus, and etc. Lots of stuff happening in the simulation world. And of course, if you want to stay even more on top of the Omsi 2 news or the simulation news, you can always join our Discord server for more news, info, and description. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now.